folks, hope you're doing well. Welcome to another lesson on YouTube and Patreon. So the other day I was jamming along to some Brian Setzer Orchestra stuff, which I like to do, and I like to just like make stuff up, do some little solos and things. So I'm gonna do it slightly different today. I'm gonna sort of backtrack over that little bit of improvisation you just saw at the start, and I'm gonna go over sort of how I came about to sort of do those ideas. And hopefully some of you will find that interesting and take away some shapes and stuff to put in your own music. So basically, when I'm doing this sort of thing, the first thing I will do, I will look at what the chords are. And when I say look, I will listen to them. I'll work out what the root notes are, and then I'll build up the chord from there, as long as I've got it somewhere near. So, you could, because this is in the key of E, you could get away with just playing the pentatonic scale all the way through, and that's going to work. But to make it more interesting for us, it's good to have that bit of knowledge of what the chords are, and then we can sort of, try and change to the chords while we're doing our soloing, which is what I've done on a lot of that little sort of jam I did at the start. So what I'll do first then, I'll show you the chord and then where my ideas are coming from, and hopefully that'll just help a little bit with the stuff that you do as well. So this track is in E minor. We've got the first bit. It starts on like an E minor. So if we quickly listen to what I did. So the first thing I did then was I sat down, I listened to the chords, worked out maybe the root notes, and then built the chords up from there if I wasn't sure of what all the chords would be. So the first one is E minor. And what I did with that first bit, I literally just did the pentatonic scale, but instead of doing this one, I played it across the 12 frets. So this shape. So if I show you that first, that is just 12-10 on string 1, and then 12-10-8 on string 2, then 9-7 on string 3, then 9-7-5 on string 4, 7-5 on string 5, then 7-5-3-0 on string 6. Okay, and once again, we could have just played that over this first section, and it would fit fine. But to make it just that little bit more interesting, give it that sort of like chromatic setzery type sound, I'm putting lots of passing notes in. So instead of just running down that shape, I'm putting all the notes in between as well. So instead of just going 12-10, I'm going to go 12-11-10. Then when I go to string 2, instead of 12-10, I'll go 12-11-10. And instead of going 10-8, I'll go 10-9-8. Okay, and then instead of going just 9-7, I'll go 9-8-7 on string 3. String 4, 9-8-7 again. Then string 4 again, 7-6-5. Then string 5, 7-6-5. And then over that section, it's doing the E minor, but then it goes to a D as well. So it's literally going. So I'm just using the pentatonic over all of that. And you've noticed as well, I land on the D at the end. That sort of fits nicely with the D chord as well. And then I'll put an open on string 6 to fret 5, and that goes to the A then, so I land on the A just as the song goes to an A chord. So the song is going E, D, A. Okay, and then, like I said, we could have just carried on noodling on the pentatonic, but to make it more interesting, we're playing to the chords, like I said. So because I'd analysed what the chord shapes would be, I can adapt my soloing a little bit. So what I did there was just this cool sort of first, third, and fifth from A major, which is just fret 5 on string 6, 4, 7 on string 5, and then you can jump up an octave and do the same again, same shape though, 7 on string 4, 6, 9 on string 3, and that's just coming like from A major, which is just like fret 5 on string 6, 4, 7 on string 5, and then 7 on string 4, 6 on string 3, 5 on strings 1 and 2. Okay. So that's over the A as well then. So far we've got E, D, A, pentatonic run down, land on the A. Then the song goes to a G. So you got... So when it hits the G, again, I move to a G, and I take that same idea I just had. It goes to the G, I drop it down from there, down to fret 5, and do the same shape. So 5 on string 4, then 4, 7 on string 3, then I hit an 8 on string 2, well that's a G, root note of G. So that ends that little part over the G quite nicely. Okay, that's over that. So when it goes to the C then, what I'm doing, I'm playing this little pattern, which, you know, if you picture like your C like that, you know, you got your C7 as well, and your C9, a shape that I use a lot of is this one here. You know, which is like a C9. You know, and I'm taking some of those ideas for this little section, even though I'm doing a C. So all I'm doing is literally going 3 on string 5, and then 2, 5 on string 4, and then 3, 5, 3 on string 3, back to fret 5 on string 4. And that's over the C. And the chords are moving really quick, and so that's why I'm just putting a little bit from each shape, moving with the chords to make it fit. Okay, after that it moves to a D, and it's the same idea. I'm taking the same idea. I'm taking this pattern that I had down there, you know, just picturing the D shape, and I'm picturing the notes around it. So 5 on string 5, 4, 7 on string 4, and then 5, 7 on string 3, 5, 7 on string 2, 5, 8 on string 1. Yeah, but I'm just taking that idea. I can see that, I can visualize that shape, and then I'm just literally playing all the notes within it as well. Yeah. Okay, and all I'm doing there then, so I'm going to go 5, 6, 7, hammering on. I catch 5 on string 1, and then I just do pull-offs all the way back down. 7, 6, 5 on string 2, 7, 6, 5 on string 3. Okay, so that's over the C and the D. So at the minute we've got the chords going. Okay, and the solo. Okay, that sort of thing going on. Then it goes back to the E again. Okay, and all I did there was I took a bit of like the E minor arpeggio. Okay, so if I'll show you the shape quickly, there's some of the ideas where these are coming from. So this E minor arpeggio down here, we could have 7 on string 5, and then 5 on string 4, and then 4 on string 3, and then 5 on string 2, and 3, 7 on string 1. You know, we could have it like this, where you go in 7 on string 5, 5 on string 4, and 4 on string 3, and then 7, 9 on string 3. Okay, and then 8 on string 2, 7 on string 1. Okay, and then you can go 10, 12 on string 1 if you want as well. But that's sort of where the shapes are coming from, the ideas, you know, over the chord. I think I played something like that. Okay, so that idea then, and literally you can see I'm just coming up the first 3-4 notes of that arpeggio, E, fret 7, 5, 4, and then 7. And then this bit, well, yeah, it's coming from the shape, but it's also, you can picture like the E minor as well there, can't you? So, you know, I'm just taking information from the chord shape as well. Okay, so that's the first section over the E, D, A, G, C, D. So if we quickly listen to that with the chords. Okay, so the next section, it basically does the same chords again. This time, I'm leaning more on the pentatonic, like I said, and mixing the notes, chromatic notes and stuff. So I think I'm just something like this with the, you know, that sort of thing. You know, picture your pentatonic now, this one there. Yeah, and then also you can picture your Dorian shape as well with it. You know, which is 15, 14, 12, 15, 14, 12, 14, 12, 11, 14, 12, 11, 14, 12, 10, and then you can go 14, 12, 10, back to 12 to take you back to the root note. All those notes are within what I'm doing. Okay, so, you know, I'm not going to go through every note on that jam because I can't remember what I did. It was just like messing about. But those are the two shapes I'm using there. And it's just a case of I'm also putting in the passing notes again. So even though I've got those shapes, like when I'm running down the pentatonic, that I'm still putting in all the notes in between, you know. So if you picture like we're running down, if we do like 15, 14, 12 on string 1, 15, 14, 12 on string 2, then after that I'll pretty much put lots of chromatic stuff in. I'll go 14, 13, 12 on string 3, 14, 13, 12 on string 4, then 14, 13, 12 down to 10 on string 5, and then the 12 on string 6. Those sort of ideas, like see, I'm just putting all those passing notes in it, okay? Then at the end, I go back to the little ernies. And then this little bit, it's just like a diminished thing I'm putting in. So if you picture this 12 on string 1, and then 11 on string 2, 12 on string 3, 11 on string 4, we've got that. Okay, and that's it. Those are the ideas. So like I said, this is just me sort of jamming and just thinking of some different ideas for lessons, something I haven't really maybe analysed before. So I hope you enjoy it. I'll do more stuff, lots of different stuff, and have a good one. I'll see you soon. Like and subscribe, check out Patreon, all that stuff. Have a good one.